And Mr. Onyama has also been critical of the role played by Switzerland in the repatriation of stolen funds from Nigeria. Nigeria recently repatriated $321 million as part of the Abacha loot from Switzerland. At the opening of the second international conference on combating illicit financial flows and enhancing asset recovery for sustainable development, Mr. Onyema criticized the hurdles Nigeria had to cross to recover the funds, accusing Switzerland of condoning theft.
The revenue from our petroleum exports to the Hingla Dam.
2018 is Africa's anti-corruption year, as declared by the African Union, and representatives of several African countries have gathered here to discuss ways to combat illicit financial flows and assets recovery. According to the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, as at February 2018, African countries lose at least $50 billion every year to illicit financial flows. Meanwhile, the Thabo Mbeki report on illicit financial flows notes that 70% of West Africa's losses comes from Nigeria.
Resources lost to illicit financial flows could otherwise have been used to drive Africa's development. Lost tax revenues and private investment could have helped to avoid austerity, provide jobs and infrastructure, and pay for vital social services, including education and health.
One ultimate goal of combating illicit financial flows is to help countries mobilize domestic resources to finance their development goals. We cannot hope to achieve the sustainable development goals without addressing the problem of illicit financial flows.
The challenge before these participants is how to repatriate the stolen funds stashed in foreign accounts. Nigeria's Minister of Foreign Affairs quickly reminds them of the strenuous process of recovering such assets.
We got some money back from Switzerland, but my God, when you look at the details, I was shocked and extremely angry at the process of recovery, because you see the percentage of the money that eventually came back to us that was paid out to all kinds of institutions in Switzerland, to lawyers, to this, to that, percentages of huge sums of money. And I said, but this is daylight robbery. This is daylight robbery, you know, that these countries are perpetrating.
The conference is expected to propose ways to improve sanctions and enforcement of mechanisms for perpetrators of illicit financial flows.
In a bid to improve power distribution, the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company has commissioned a new injection substation in Nike, Enugu East local government area. The new injection substation, with 3 units of 11 kVA feeders, is designed to enhance the quality of electricity supply to about 13,000 residents of Nike and its environs. According to the management of the EEDC, over 50,000 customers have been metered in the last 8 months, and several other projects undertaken across the region to ensure economic growth and customer satisfaction.
Gathered here are staff of the Enugu Electricity Distribution Company, members of the Senate and Nike community in Enugu East local government area. The occasion is the commissioning of a new 1 by 7.5 MVA injection substation. According to the EEDC board chairman, who is represented at the event by the Senator of Anambra Central District, financing the new injection substation with 3 units of 11 kVA feeders is a demonstration of the company's commitment to giving the people a better quality of life.
Power, energy remains the engine for economic development. The chairman of EEDC is doing everything to ensure that this company serves the needs of our people of the Southeast geopolitical zone. And we need the cooperation of everybody to support this company.
The board members condemn energy theft, insisting that regular payment of bills will help replicate the service in other parts of the Southeast.
If you go to the gas station and you buy diesel, you don't ask them to wait that you pay tomorrow. If you don't pay, you don't get the service. Electricity is exactly the same thing like buying diesel.
The facility is launched to the delight of all present. It appears residents are already feeling the impact of the additional energy injection.
I came back 2 weeks ago and I have not witnessed any power outage. So it is a very big honor to our people.
According to the management of EEDC, more than 50,000 electricity consumers have been supplied meters in the last 8 months amid several other projects undertaken across the region.
Let's take a look at some business news now. Here's Kayode Okikiolu.
Thank you, Jama, and you're welcome to Business News. The federal government says it plans to make the payment of the $2.89 billion as balance approved from the Paris Club refunds to state governments in phased tranches. The spokesperson for the Federal Ministry of Finance, Mr. Hassan Dodo, says the refund is part of the government's fiscal stimulus to ensure the financial health of subnational governments. It says that the federal government will commence payment of the refund once the backlog of salaries and staff arrears and several other conditions are met by the state governments. The Paris Club loan over deduction had been a long-standing dispute between the federal and state governments from 1995 to 2002, before reconciliation with the Debt Management Office began in 2016. The National Pension Commission is set to roll out a micro-pension scheme in January 2019 to extend the benefits of contributory pension scheme to the informal sector. The Acting Director General of the Commission, Mrs. Aisha Dahir Umar, made this announcement at a meeting with pension operators where some of the burning issues in the sector were also discussed.
This roundtable between the National Pension Commission and operators is aimed at updating executives on the latest developments in the industry. The Acting Director General, Mrs. Aisha Dahir Umar, announces that the Commission is close to the reality of a micro-pension fund.
Before I left Abuja, we received our approval for the guidelines from the Office of the SGF. The micro-pension scheme will take off in the January of 2019.
The Commission is also overwhelmed with contributors' clamor for a redirection of retirement benefits to other areas of priority.
It is the clamor, the agitation by our contributors to redirect their retirement benefits to deal with other social issues like housing and health. There's a lot of campaign going on the ground, and very soon we are going to have problem in that direction. We need to find ways to deal with it before it becomes a full-fledged fever.
But besides the success stories of the scheme are some low-hanging fruits elevated for operators and regulators to examine.
In fact, employers, both in public and private sector, have now formed the habit of deducting this money and now remitting it to the retirement saving account of workers. This is a threat to the scheme.
They should do everything possible to release more money so that the accrued rights should be paid as at when due, so that this scheme of pension will be sustained.
Findings have shown that the federal government owes a total of 300 billion naira in pension accrued rights to pensioners, an age-long concern that borders the working class and the average retiree.
Let's head over to the NSE, where investors in the Nigerian stock market extend the sell-offs into a fifth consecutive session in the new month, ending today's session down by nearly 0.5%. Chimeze Obiwagu has a summary of today's trading.
Thank you, Kayode, and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The bears have maintained their grip on the equities market as the apathy becomes more apparent. Today, the negative sentiment reflected mostly on the banking stocks, pulling that index down by 3.05%. Nestle, which lost 9.67% on Monday, regained almost the losses by 9.59% because of bargain hunting, pushing the consumer goods sector up by 1.60%. Again, volume and value were very low. Just a paltry 1.5 billion naira was realized in the sale of over 150 million shares. In all, the overall index dropped by 0.48%. The reason for this continuous negative sentiment is not far from the political uncertainty and, of course, sell pressure to meet financial obligations as schools resume. However, while some investors are dumping their stocks, other risk takers are picking the penny stocks. For now, traders are waiting for a one-off positive trigger that might bring a change to the direction of the market. And that was the stock market report. I'm Chimezie Obi Iwago. Back to you now, Kayode.
Thank you, Chimezie. U.S. stock market closes Tuesday's trading session in the green as a rebound in tech shares offset lingering trade tensions. In the meantime, mixed performance trailed other major global indexes. Here are some snapshots of the closing numbers. And that's Business News. I am Kayode Okikiolu. The news at 10 continues with Ijeoma.
The President and Group CEO of MTN, Rob Shutter, says that despite the challenges they face with the authorities in Nigeria currently, Nigeria remains an exciting and great destination for investment. He was speaking at the Nigerian Pavilion at the ongoing International Telecom Union Conference taking place in Durban, South Africa. Today is Nigeria Day at the conference, and a strong delegation of Nigerian officials from the Ministry of Communication and relevant parastatals told investors and prospects why Nigeria is the best place to invest.
Nigeria's message at the ITU conference is clear. The ICT sector in Nigeria holds the biggest potential for investment and growth.
Nigeria is a country where you invest and you have value for your money. You are sure of return on your investment earlier than you expect.
We are about to issue licenses for value-added services aggregation. Every day, we are proactive in bringing out measures that will ensure effective, flexible regulation of the telecommunications industry in Nigeria.
There were questions from the various industry players in the pavilion, and Nigerian officials provided answers. Many were particularly interested in the latest MTN saga and how this affects prospective investor confidence. Fortunately, the group chief executive of MTN, Rob Shutter, was present.
Nigeria has been home to MTN since 2001. We're very proud of the business we've built there. We do have some disagreements there right now. We will work through those disagreements, but we remain inspired by Nigeria as an investment destination. It's exciting, it has loads of potential.
Nigeria has over 162 million telecom subscribers, according to the figures from the Nigerian Communications Commission. So interest in the various telecom sectors seems quite high.
I think, if anything, the playing field has been projected as a country that is open to investment, and I think the NCC is actually open to engage and be transparent in terms of what its requirements are for countries wishing to invest there.
The International Telecoms Union Conference continues, and many countries are present, showing what they have or want. Apart from the Nigeria Day event, parallel discussion sessions have covered issues like the impact and ownership of artificial intelligence, digital finance and digital challenges and smart cities, among others. The conference is expected to end on Thursday, the 13th of September. From Durban, South Africa, Betty Dibia, Channels Television News.